G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 4 of the season. 3 rounds down and plenty more to go. We've got Wiz 1998 up the top of the table with 22, doing nicely there. 12 places above me, so I've as usual and as most weeks go, I've got work to do. But that's all right. It's a long season, and we'll see how we go by season's end. I got 6 last week, so not too shabby. 6 out of 8, we'll take that. But yeah, let's get stuck into round 4. This is what it's all about. And we start things off Thursday night football. What a game this will be! We've got Collingwood and the Blues at the MCG. Going to be an enormous clash for both sides. Collingwood definitely a good record over the Blues of late and playing some pretty good footy. They, I think they had a bye. No, they had a win. What do they do? Doggies by 6 points. They did have a bye. They were out. So yeah, the Pies, they last defeated the Dogs by a goal, and the Blues unfortunately just went down to the Dogs. So that's the form line of those two sides. Have to go Collingwood here, and it's just going to be a bit under a goal. Normally is. Form line would suggest that these games are always pretty close. I think it's going to be pretty similar again, but the Pies, they know how to do it in the close ones, playing some good footy, liking the way they're going about it. Ball movement game is quite strong. I think they'll be able to get the job done over the Blues. And if Thursday night's not big, wait till you get to Friday night. You've got Geelong and Melbourne. This one will be at GMHBA Stadium. And the Cats, they went down to the Lions by 9 points in a preliminary final rematch. And we saw the D's went to the MCG. And unfortunately for them, Gold Coast took them to town by about 10 goals. So they've definitely had their woes early on the D's. I'm hoping that they don't get smashed in the media this week, because if they do, then they'll come out and finally deliver a response. When I tipped them to beat the Gold Coast last week to get a response, and it didn't come along. So, yeah, look, Geelong at home is a pretty tough proposition. I'll go the Cats, not with a lot of confidence, even though, we've had some good patches of footy, but by and large we've been, sort of inconsistent at times, and it doesn't take much to, I suppose, lose a game, really. If you're switched off for even half a quarter, you can potentially lose a game. And you've got to be switched on for 4 quarters and play 4 quarters to get the result ultimately. But I think Cats at home, really strong first week. Usually win there against the D's. I think they'll do so again. Over to People First Stadium, we've got Gold Coast and the Crows, and this game's quite split. Gold Coast, massive win over the Demons, and the Crows had a pretty comfortable win over North Melbourne, although North did give them a real good go, that's for sure. I'm feeling pretty confident about Gold Coast and what they're doing, so I'm going to tip the Suns. They're pretty well established at home. They've made it a bit of a cauldron. They've had some pretty big first results against some sides that have got some questionable form. Adelaide have been great at home as well, and got a really good result at the MCG. But both these sides haven't played anyone that we believe is going to be top 4, top 6, top 8. We'll wait and see. I think Gold Coast with the home ground advantage there will be able to get the job done. I think Gold Coast will be too strong at their home venue, the Cauldron. We go over to the MCG, and then we've got Richmond, and they're hosting the Brisbane Lions, who are looking quite pretty at the moment on the ladder. So Richmond, they went down to the Saints. I think it was about 80 or so points thereabouts. So they got touched up in the second half in a big way. And then Brisbane, they just keep getting the job done. Doesn't matter how far behind they are. Doesn't matter where teams sit with them. You can be 10 goals up. Does not matter. They will come back like the Grim Reaper. They are coming after you. And they defeated the Cats. 9 points, as mentioned before. Typically don't play that amazingly at the MCG, but if you just look at the final series, that's not really an issue anymore. Once you break the belief, you break the barrier. It's a foregone issue. Over to Marvel Stadium, and this one's on the Saturday night. We've got North Melbourne hosting the Sydney Swans. North pretty competitive against the Crows for a good 3.5 quarters. Went down ultimately, I think it was about 7 goals or so in the end, 6-7 goals. Sydney had the bye, so they're pretty fresh at the moment. They play Marvel quite well. They're a good side, so they play at a lot of venues quite well. North going to give them a really good scare here. I'm not going to tip North just yet. I'll go the Swans. If North continue their great form or their competitive form and find a way to beat the Swans, then I'll be more confident to go with them, but might be bridge too far this week. But we'll see. Over the Sunday games, we've got 3 on the Sunday this week. We've got GWS hosting the West Coast Eagles at NG Stadium. GWS went down to the Hawks, about 2-goal margin by the end of the game. And the Eagles went down to the Dockers, about 7-goal loss thereabouts, I think. That looks like 7 goals. Pretty close, 38 points. Okay, so yeah, I like the Giants at home. They're playing some good footy. Again, kind of patchy at times. They gave the Hawks good scare early on, but weren't able to go on with it. But I think, at home, they're a pretty tough proposition. We saw what they did to the Pies week 1. Eagles, not playing that well at home, not playing that well away. Still in that rebuild phase. Giants and the Eagles are at different levels at the moment. Over to Port Adelaide and St Kilda. This one's at Adelaide Oval, and some interesting insights here. We know Port love it at home. They went down to the Bombers, who were inspired. I think it was about 2 goals thereabouts from memory. 2 goals. And the Saints won by 85 points thereabouts against the Tigers. Really interesting. I don't know when Zach Butters is back. I assume he'll be back soon, but I don't know what's going on here, but I'm leaning towards the Saints. Their last couple of weeks have been fantastic, and I just think their ball movement, their half-back movement might be able to catch Port Adelaide out here. Their forward line pressure tends to not be that amazing, Port. At home, they're definitely a different prospect, and St Kilda normally wouldn't have great success over here. But I feel like Port are a bit vulnerable, and I feel like the Saints are really playing some great footy and absolutely hot at the moment. So I'm going to lean towards the Saints, and that could come back to bite me. But I have a slightly more trust in the Saints than I do Port Adelaide at the moment. Then we move over to Optus Stadium. We've got Fremantle up against the Western Bulldogs. The Dockers, they had a pretty solid win over the Eagles, 38-point winners in the end. Always tough, those derbies or derbies, however you want to pronounce it. Then we got the Western Bulldogs, who they've been gritty in their first few weeks of playing. They're 2-1 and looking pretty promising. Good win over the Blues, 8 points thereabouts. So it was a close one. I'm going to go the Dogs. They've just been ever so reliable early in the season. They have travelled well in the past when playing the Dockers over at Optus Stadium as well, even when Fremantle have played good footy. We even saw in the final they didn't get the 4 points or the preliminary semi-final off the back of it, but they kicked the first 7 goals. They're up by 41 points or 49 points or something in that final. So that doesn't scare them. Having no Bond hasn't really been too much of a concern. Other players have stood up, so I think that'll happen again. Dockers would want to win though, but I just from what I've seen early days, more comfortable with what the Dogs have been able to produce on a more regular basis. Let's go through them. So I've gone Collingwood 5 points, Geelong, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, GWS, St Kilda, Western Bulldogs, and we can see Essendon and Hawthorn out with the byes after playing early days. So I've gone a few away teams here. In fact, even split there. So we'll see how it goes. And those are my tips for round 4, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and comment who you think's going to win over the weekend. I hope your team gets a win as well. Give the video a like and subscribe away so you can keep up to date with who I pick to win each and every week. And stay tuned with how the old ladder's going as well with the competition. That's obviously crucial as well. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much for joining in, guys. Hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next video.